what up, though? It is a Thursday. This is Knockouts and Three Counts, and we're about to talk about Lights Out. It might be game over for somebody that's about to be on this show. But before we get to that, I got to tell you about our sponsors that are bringing you this show, and that's the fine folks over at Potter's Tree Service. If you're in the need for tree removal, tree trimming, chipping service, storm damage cleanup, walnut logging, or lot clearing, Potter's Tree Service is the way to go. So before we get to talking about Jesse Bazzi versus Calvin Harbaugh, check out this commercial from our sponsors and enjoy the show.
This is the Ring of Honor, a.k.a. Shane T, boy, the baddest champion you ever seen, boy.
This is Mr. Anderson.
This is good old JR Jim Ross, and you are listening.
You're listening to Knockouts and Three Counts.
Cover! We got a new world champion!
That might be one of the craziest knockouts I've ever seen in my life.
Knockouts and Three Counts is the podcast, baby! It's the real deal, baby!
Knockouts and Three Counts starts now.
And just like that, it's another Thursday. J-Bone has survived the StreamYard glitch. And
yeah,
this
baby.
Is Knockouts and Three Counts. And like I said, this is going to be a first. It's the first time we've got two guys who are about to be fighting each other on the same episode. I'm going to be behind the microphone. Poor bastards gave me a microphone again. You can check that out on Spectation Sports. Come January 13th, or come check it out live at the Hype Athletics Center in Wayne. But to kick off this show, we are joined by the return of a past guest of this show, Calvin Hero Harbaugh. How you doing, brother, man?
I'm doing good, brother. How about yourself?
Can't complain, man. Now that we got everything all together, it's another Thursday getting to do the damn thing. I'm looking forward to being behind the mic for the fights next Saturday. But, dude, it's been quite a while since we've had you on the show. Talk about a little bit about what's new in the world of Mr. Harbaugh headed into this fight.
You have my on here, Esteban Rodriguez. Obviously, he's been killing it. You know, that was a great show. I feel like it's been a whirlwind this year. I feel like it's just been nonstop. You know, the growth of my gym, getting a new facility. You know, all the guys we got coming up. I've just been so entrenched and immersed in martial arts. It's been such a blessing, man. Like I was telling excuse me, what's my man's name in the top right? I know Corey and then J-Bone.
J-Bone, yes, sir.
Yeah, I was telling my man Corey, it's like it's been such a blessing, man. I feel like everything that I visualized is coming to fruition this year. I've been able to travel to Florida multiple times, went to Miami, Salt Lake City, Vegas, watched my wife bring home that gold right behind me, that world title.
There it is.
It's been just so many special moments after special moments, like so much good energy. It's been, you know, it's been nonstop. So like, I feel like I haven't even really had the time to like stop and like really take everything in, because it's been the next thing. And to some degree, I feel like that's, you know, how it should be, right? You take that moment, you're present, you enjoy that moment. You know, like I was there for my wife to enjoy that moment, there to, you know, walk out in front of 10,000 people in Salt Lake City, let Mohawk have his moment, be a part of that. You get to embrace all that, take all that good energy in, you know, rub shoulders with the guys that you've been watching, on TV that you always saw yourself with, back when I was just getting into MMA, stepping into a boxing gym, not knowing anything, right? Getting laughed at. And I always had that vision of myself further along than where I was. And I always kind of saw myself here. I was talking with one of my guys, he's Anthony Lisha Williams. He's a filmmaker, signed with Def Jam, 3-time Golden Glove champ. He's been helping me sharpen up my hands. And he was asking me, like, did you ever see yourself here? He's just amazed by the growth. And it really hasn't been that long, right? I've only been fighting now for I believe 5 or 6 years, 20 fights later. And I told him, honestly, I did, there was obviously times, during COVID when I took some of my stumbles, when I got a big head, when I lost my pro debut, where I questioned it, I questioned myself, but I never really questioned where I was going. But I definitely questioned my preparation and my process, and I had to refine it. So that was.
Now, I just want to bring something up real quick. I hear a lot of guys that took fights during COVID, and a lot of them regret that, because at a time like that, when COVID was going on, you either fought or you had to find a different way to survive, right? Because
it was MMA was really coming up and lights out. I felt like I had entrenched myself in that promotion, and they were kind of, trying to push me and bring me along the right way, because I earned that. I fought everybody as an amateur that they brought to me. I didn't turn anybody down. I think, when I went to defend the belt, I was fighting a dude that was coming down from 155, Bama's number 1, and I only fought killers, and I really thought I was ready to take on the world. But I don't regret 1 second. I don't regret going and gracing those stages at LFA, where I got a win right during COVID. My first fight during COVID was a win. And, I don't regret those fights, because it kind of, everybody's road is different. Some people have all the right people around them, and they bring them along the right way, and they're 20-0. And, by the time they get their shot. For me, I didn't have that luxury. I had to figure it out kind of, a different way and take a different road, the road less traveled. I had to get my, knocked down a little bit. I had to, pick myself up, figure out how much I didn't know. And for me, I think is exactly what the doctor ordered. I'm not, this sport has humbled me so much, but I didn't come into it this humble guy. And I feel like that's part of what this journey has been for me. One of those guys where, things have come easy for me. But, MMA has not come easy for me, at all. Right. And, it's one of those things where, if you start feeling like you know everything, you're dead. So I feel like God was showing me how much I didn't know, how far I still had to go. And it really, made me realize, I thought I was working hard. I thought I was doing everything right. And I realized, man, no, you got to go twice as hard. You got to go 3 times as hard.
Well, speaking of that, that goes into something I wanted to ask you about. So, you now, like you said, have been along the ride for Mohawks Rise and BKFC and all that, and getting to be a coach and all those things. How is that impacting the way that you fight now? How do you feel like that's going to make things different for you this time around in the cage?
Well, I'm just constantly immersing myself in all aspects of the game. I'm constantly refining, evolving, and the biggest things I was lacking in my game early on in my career was the study part. I never really studied. I clocked in, I clocked out, I went to the gym. I was working a full-time job. I put my couple hours in the gym, and I thought I was doing enough. And now I started to realize, that these guys that are the best, they live in the film room. They're constantly studying their craft. And I realized that if I wanted to have a career in this, I needed to be completely obsessed. I needed to give everything that I absolutely had. I needed to, be that guy that's, up studying and, sometimes my family's like, man, Calvin, we got to watch something else, come spend some time watching, Prison Break, or watch an episode of Survivor, because all you're watching is jiu-jitsu. All you're watching is MMA. And I had to really, start to take in everything, right? When you're talking about bare knuckle, that's something that sent me back, to the old days, of English bare knuckle fighting in the UK, where it originated. I'm watching all sorts of old school fights and, refining my boxing fundamentals just to be able to do these guys justice, right? The reason why Mohawk entrusted, his career with me, it's my mind. It's how I view things, how I break things down. I like to think that, I'm pretty technical, and I'm really, obviously I have help. My wife is a huge part of that. She really helps keep me focused and accountable. And I'm constantly bouncing things off her. And she's just as obsessed with this sport as me when it comes to like the athletic development side and, how to get better, how to get that 1% better, how to train a little smarter. She's been so instrumental in that. So I'm not doing all this downloading by myself, but, again, to answer your question, it's a lot. It's given me the freedom and ability to be in the gym 24/7, right? If I'm not training myself, I'm training these guys. I'm constantly around the sport. I can't afford to take a day off. Now when I'm tired, I still got to go in and coach these guys, breaking stuff down constantly. And I think for some guys, maybe that's a distraction or it pulls them away from what they have to do. For me, it's been such a help, right? Because it's made me so much more technical. Again, I've been that guy, to be in the gym and then disappear for a while. And, I don't have that luxury anymore. These guys are counting on me. I have a whole team counting on me. I'm trying to build this gym. I got to constantly be injecting good energy into these guys, winning energy. And I can't afford to have any days off. And it's really just kept me on, right? It's made me eliminate some of the distractions, before that I feel like had plagued my career and kind of darkened my spirit and threw me off course. I've had to eliminate that. Right now I have so much clarity. I'm focused 100% on martial arts, on fighting, on bare knuckle, jujitsu. This is my whole life now. I wake up and I'm happy to do it, right? I'm tired. Like I was telling you guys, man, it's exhausting. Of course it is, but that's exactly how I should feel. If you're pursuing this and you got a bunch of energy at the end of the day, I think you're probably doing something wrong.
That makes total sense. One of the things that I wanted to talk about with that is we talk about the training and all those things. Something that's unique with both you and your opponent, who will also be joining us later tonight, Jesse Bazzi. You guys both, like you said, have opened new gyms. Talk to me about Deepwater MMA.
Well, I've got champions. I don't know much about his guys. I haven't heard a lot. I'm sure he's got some studs there that are helping him, but I've got, champions. I've got pros coming in and out of the gym constantly. So Deepwater's been amazing, man. This weekend, Saturday, we've got a big tournament and not a big tournament. It's a little Fuji in Kalamazoo, but we've had so much success, right? I coached. We had 3 guys in title fights over the last year. Got my first amateur champion. Obviously, Mohawk's having all his success at the pro level. 2 straight fight of the nights. Really 4-0 in BKFC. That one fight in Miami, there was all sorts of drama surrounding that. There was a knockdown scratch. I never seen anything like it in my career. I did. That was something where, and he's such a humble guy, right? He almost needed to call. And as a coach, you're supposed to be the guy, being the voice of reason to your fighter, but he almost had to be the voice of reason to me to help me cope and deal with it. Cause I'd never seen in a fight, where a dude gets knocked down and they act like it never happened. And, obviously, you look back at the fight stats, and I do think the dude landed some effective strikes on Mohawk, but, his output won him that fight. In a fight we were going off, touching and points scored, which is boxing. I mean, it wasn't even close. The guy was hanging on for dear life throughout a lot of those later rounds. Mohawk was still touching and going, and that was a very hard thing for me to witness down in Miami, especially when you love a guy so much. Like, me and Mohawk obviously go way back. We've been through a lot of ups and downs together personally, in and out of the cage, right? We've kind of seen each other grow as men and, had to elevate to get to this point where now, I got a world title fight coming up. He's, really starting to make some decent money in fighting. And his, our whole careers have been kind of leading to this, and that's what I kind of really have felt lately this year, going into this new year. I really feel like this is my time, like it's my time to really put in the work. These opportunities are starting to show themselves. And if I'm not winning every moment, every day, not completely embracing the moment and embracing this time, I'm going to look back in 10 years and have a lot of regrets. So that's why I've just been so tunnel vision and trying to give every ounce of energy I have to not only my career, but giving so much away, right? To be a good coach, you have to give a lot away. But I've learned a long time ago, the more you give away, the more you get back. So, that energy, it sticks with me. I got goosebumps right now because I got so many guys counting on me at Deepwater, right? This thing has been something that kind of came from nothing, right? I mean, I worked my ass off to put myself in position to be a coach over there, but I still remember coaching one guy in my wife's in-laws basement for a year. I had one student, before this thing started really taking off. But one thing I always promised myself, that vision that I talk about, is like I coached one guy the same way I coach a whole room full of guys. And I feel like it really prepared me for now to have all the talented guys that come in the gym. We got some upper belts that have come up into the gym, and they said they never felt anything like what we're building at Deepwater. And I think it's because of that humility, and because of, just the ability to, coach one guy the same way you'd coach 20 guys. You can't start off fighting in front of 10,000 people, right? You start off fighting in the mirror, shadow boxing with yourself, and if you can shadow box, if you can own that moment and train with the same spirit that you would train in, the biggest gyms in the world or in front of 10,000 people, man, then you really own that moment. And yeah, man, Deepwater, that's my baby. I got some great guys around me. I got, Phil Joseph wrestled at Eastern Michigan, the Corey brothers, tremendous wrestlers. Zane's got some big wins in MMA himself. I'm around a lot of great minds and, just wrestling and fitness industry that hold me accountable. It was different coming even over from Temple and the dojo to there, right? Because now there's multiple cooks in the kitchen, and everybody's kind of got a way that they see things being run. And at first it was difficult for me. I had a bit of anxiety, but then I started to realize, I got to do what I do and coach the way that I know how to coach, and obviously have an open mind and take from what I can. But you got to keep yourself, man. There's always going to be, people trying to pull you this way or that way. And I can imagine, in the NFL locker room, you've got how many coaches, and they all got an opinion. And the guys that are really successful are the ones who are able to keep themselves and remember how they got there. So I'm so grateful, man. I'm so grateful for Deepwater and the connections, the bridges we're building. It's Deepwater, but it's really multiple gyms. I feel like a lot of guys in the area, they want to keep everything to themselves. Man, we got guys from all different gyms constantly coming in, different coaches. I'm not insecure, right? I know the product that I have. I'm not worried about guys training here or training there. That's one thing that happened at my first gym is, every time somebody else would come in, things would get weird, this and that, and everybody's egos involved. And it's like, man, the minute that a coach, I don't know if it was Masvidal or somebody said, like, the minute a coach tells you not to go somewhere, that's the time that you need to run. You know what I mean? Because he no longer has your best interests at heart. And I feel like that's the community that we're trying to build, is like, just give me the best guys, bring me the best coaches. If you can go get great work somewhere, go build those bridges with those guys, then bring those guys here, tell them a little bit about what we're doing. And that's how we're building that community of guys that, is going to be able to take on the world. Because the fact of the matter is, obviously I can go train when I travel for these fights. I train, I pop into different gyms, but I have my roots here in Michigan. I'll always be in Michigan. I'll always be a Michigan guy. I love my home. I got 7 acres out here with my family. And I'm not going anywhere. So I got to be able to build those connections here. I got to be able to build that community here. I'm not one of these men that, obviously it's a selfish sport, right? But I'm not one of these guys that can go 2 months and be without his family and leave him hanging like that. more power to those guys if they feel as though, you know, at the end of the day, they can sleep at night, you know, living that kind of lifestyle. And I get it, right? You only have one chance at this. You only got so much time. And a lot of times, you know, people feel as though you need to be in those big gyms to be successful. But I think that in itself is a little bit of insecurity. You know, they don't feel like they can do it. And
so with that being said, bro,
trying to
you're
make
about to be traveling all over the place, though. You about to have you and Mohawk. Like, you brought that up and what y'all got going with Deep Water. You know, from what I see, if everything goes well with Bazzi, you plan on having this fight, and then you guys are fighting in Brazil.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons why I took that fight, is because my coach is going to link me up over there at Shoot the Box with Charles Oliveira and Wanderlei Silva and stuff like that. So I'm going to be able to go train and learn and pick the minds of some of the legends, you know, of the sport. And that's a big reason why I actually took that fight, even though it was, you know, in close proximity to this fight, is because the opportunity to go train in Brazil, you know, where, you know, BJJ really was modernized. Obviously, it started. A lot of people believe in Japan. If you want to nerd out a little bit about jiu-jitsu, but you know, I know that that's like the motherland of jiu-jitsu, and I, you know, the ability to go learn from some of those guys, from some of my coach Jadis and Costa's buddies over there. I mean, Dubronx is going to be in the stands. John Lineker, Wanderlei. I mean, they go rub shoulders with some of those goats, man. That's kind of like, you know, a big reason why I'm in this sport is because I grew up watching those guys. From when I was a kid, my dad wanted me to be an MMA fighter. We watched UFC 1. He got me into jiu-jitsu. A little bit about my background. I was a 27-time national champion as a kid. I got a lot of accolades. None of that shit means anything now, obviously. And I kind of actually fell away from the sport, was getting in trouble, lost my way. And MMA kind of put me back on track and save my life. So, you know, being able to, you know, rub shoulders with those guys, meet those guys that inspired me as a kid, it's so invaluable to me. It's not about the money for me. You know, if it was about the money, I would have quit a long time ago. This sport for me, it doesn't pay shit, really. You know what I mean? I'm able to have a comfortable life not coaching, and that's been a gift, right? I always wanted a career in this, but it's never been about the money. It's been about, you know, being a part of this thing that's so much bigger than all of us, right? Just like what you guys are doing. You get to, you know, talk to some of the best fighters in the world. You get to not only watch the stuff on TV, but have almost like play a part in it, in what we're seeing. And a lot of people don't do that. They go throughout their lives and they watch everything through a box, and they don't really take part in it. You know, they don't take part in what's happening in the world. And that's why I respect you guys. I respect this platform so much.
Appreciate that, man.
Hell yeah.
With that,
he said Wanderlei Silva, and I got stoked, bro. You know, that's one of the
you're not
probably one of the first dudes I seen, when I started watching UFC. I'm
murder guys.
Killer.
Yeah,
being a jiu-jitsu guy,
yeah, the head tat and everything, man. I almost got a head tat, cousin, and my wife won't let me though. My dad tried this on me too.
Get that one.
That's one thing my dad said. I mean, I'm all inked up and whatnot, but you know, he said, you get a neck tat, man, you might as well not have a dad.
No shit. No shit.
Uh-oh.
Well,
yeah,
you get one hiding with the hair. You grow your hair out, they can't even tell.
A funny story, man. I hope he doesn't paint my dad in like the light, but you know, obviously I feel like his mentality is what made me who I was. I mean, you don't win all those titles as a kid without a dad injecting some kind of energy into you. And you know, they call him Cody No Love, right?
Yeah. And
he's got the big neck tat and stuff. And we'd be watching UFC, and he'd be like, "Man, they might as well call that kid Cody No Dad." And I know that's messed up, right? But it's like that's just my dad's mentality when it comes to tats and shit like that. He don't got no tattoos. He kind of looks at me goofy sometimes.
I can't say nothing, dude. I got my first one when I was 14 because my mom didn't think I had balls enough to get one. So that was pretty much how that worked for me. I got one when I was 14, then the next one was when I was 16, then the next one was like when I was 21. Now my whole arm's covered, and I got a whole bunch of them. But with that being said, and talking about fights and what we got going on, like I said, I'm going to be back on the call January 13th. So talk to me about this fight with Jesse Bazzi. What's the beef between y'all two, and how do you see this fight going, bro?
I wouldn't say there's beef just because I haven't shared enough words with him really for there to be any beef, but there was my second amateur fight, I fought Rodney Miracle. And again, I was fighting out of a boxing gym. Didn't really have much of an MMA team around me. I had some really good boxers that I was sparring with. And Dino Newville, he's a great guy. He's got a lot going on, but he's a good coach. And but we weren't known. I was like the first pro MMA fighter, first MMA fighter to really get wins out of that gym. And I was going against the big bad Michigan top team, right? And I didn't know much. Obviously, I grew up on the East Coast. I'm a Philly boy, and Landenberg, Pennsylvania, but right outside of Philadelphia, and grew up over there. I didn't really know much about the local scene, and I heard all this crazy stuff about Michigan top team and Cody Stamen, and these guys are big, they're bad, blah blah blah, this and that. So I was hyped up, I was excited, I wanted to prove myself. You know what I mean? I didn't mean any disrespect to any of those guys. If anything, I really looked up to them. Right, as a young guy, you look up to these guys. You're thinking, man, I get to go potentially get a win against a guy being quartered by Stamen. That's a big deal for me. You think I was thinking small back then. And I remember, I went out there and I just completely dismantled the kid. I just was on a different level. I just had too much intensity for him. And, these guys after the fight acted like so butthurt, and they acted like it was because of how I was acting and I was disrespectful. And I really had no idea. Maybe I'm a little bit aloof. I've been that way. I mean, for a while, I don't know, maybe if I rubbed some people the wrong way with how I carry myself. People don't really like confidence. They don't like people who believe in themselves. They want you to be and act a certain way. And I just never have really been one to do that. People that know me, they love me, but a lot of people that don't know me think they know me and they hate me. So it is what it is. And, the guy gave me the cold shoulder, acted all mad, that look that Bazzi seems to have, that resting bitch face that he constantly has. I don't know who pissed in his Cheerios, but it wasn't me. But, he acted like it was me that night. And, I kind of did ruin their night, right? They let some kid, from Blues boxing gym whoop up on their boy. And they didn't like it. And ever since then, I kind of took a mental note, right? Like in my mind, like, oh, Jesse Bazzi, I knew he was, out of my weight class. I was like, maybe one day, obviously I was just an amateur at the time and he was a pro. And fast forward a few years and somehow we're still at the same level, whether that's him or just based on if that's him dropping the ball or me just, running towards my goals. I'll let the jury decide that. But we're here now and, we're going to fight Saturday night. And honestly, that's what I'm best at. All this other shit I try. I know people like to hear us talk and like to hear us build the fight and they enjoy the theatrics that go into it. And I recognize that that's a part of the game and I'll play into a little bit, but I'm best at fighting. That's what I do every day. That's what I train to do. And we're going to see who's better. And I definitely believe that I'm better. And I plan to show the world that I'm ready to take home a world title here very soon and then make my way to the biggest stages in the world and bring my team right there along with me and change the lives of everybody that's counting on me. So he stands in the way of that. I know again, I'm on a roll. I've been winning, 90% of my recent fights. I don't know what he's been doing for the last year and a half. I know he's been building his gym. I know I wanted to fight him on the last card, but he had a few phantom injuries. Nobody really could pin down what was exactly hurt. But I think it was him trying to get in shape, right? He's like, oh, no, this is an opportunity. I don't want to look soft. I feel like this is a fight that he probably thinks that he can win. He's got, obviously a lot of experience. Something I do respect about the guy is he's fought a lot of tough guys, just like me, right? From the beginning, he showed that belief in himself. And he's been trying to push to get to the top, right? I don't know if he still believes he can get there, judging by the last year and a half he's had, dabbling into boxing and this and that. He's kind of showed, kind of like he doesn't really know what path he's on. But we're going to find out. And I really do expect I expect adversity in this fight. I expect to have to push through some boundaries, but that's exactly what I want, right? I'm preparing myself for the biggest stages in the world. And the best fights feel like you're losing right into you're not. And I expect to hit that hard place and break on through and have one of the best fights of my career. I need a statement win as a pro now. I feel like I've kind of underperformed. Everybody knows that trains me how talented I am. Everybody knows where I can go, but am I going to get there? That's on me, right? You still got to show up Saturday night when the lights are brightest, and you got to go in there and you got to win fights. And that's when it's the hardest to do. And that's what I plan on really showcasing in this fight, is just my complete game, my growth. And I want to do something here. Again, I don't know how many fights I'm going to have here left on the regional stage. You know, I'm still young. I just turned 28. This is my prime though, you know, and I really see myself, obviously I'm traveling to Brazil in March, and I see myself starting to get to these bigger stages. I've already been, you know, had a world title opportunity. I fought all over the nation, you know, from the beginning of my career. I don't think a lot of guys do that, right? All my fights since amateur have been regulated fights against real guys who actually train. You know, I'm kind of in that new wave a bit. And I want to give Michigan world-class MMA and a real fight so many times. And not that I don't think there's tough guys in Michigan, and I acknowledge that, but I don't think there's a lot of guys that are willing to test themselves, right? They want to get, you know, a bunch of easy fights and then maybe get the opportunity, you know, to go out there on a big stage and get their ass kicked. You know, I'm really trying to cut my teeth here on the regional scene, so that when I do, you know, when you walk with God, you might not get there as fast as everybody else, but when you do get there, you're going to stay there. And I truly feel like, you know, this is my refining, and that this is going to be a great fight for me, and I'm starting to really get that momentum, and I've grown so much mentally. You know, I feel like I've had the physical skills and the ability now for a while to fight at the highest level, but I don't know if mentally I was prepared enough. That's one thing that coaching has done for me too, right? Is every time I take that walk, whether it's in Salt Lake City in front of 10,000 or if it's down in Flint in front of a couple thousand people, I get to prepare, like go through that process, the warm up, being in the back with my guys. And I get to kind of visualize, you know, myself taking that walk. And it helps you mentally prepare and kind of deal with the emotions and the moment of being at a prize fight. And that's something I have a lot of experience now as a coach, as a fighter. And I really feel as though now I'm going to be able to remain much more in the moment. And I think Jesse Bazzi is going to owe me a handshake. You know, you don't have to give me a hug, but at least a handshake after this fight and say, you know what, kid, you know, you're damn good. And I think one day he'll be telling people about how he fought me and how I was probably the best guy he's ever fought.
So what's the prediction? How does this fight end?
KO round one.
Damn. You heard it here first. No mincing words. No cutting the bullshit. He says KO round one. If you guys can't be at the Hype Athletic Center in Wayne, make sure you're checking this out on Spectation Sports. I'll make sure I don't bore you too much on that microphone. The action that's going to be going on in that cage is going to make it hard for you to find any way to be bored come January 13th. Calvin, if you got any last words for anybody who's watching or anybody who's on the fence about coming, let them know, and let them know where they can find you and all that stuff.
Everybody out there, you know, talking this, talking that, saying that, you know, Jesse Bazzi is going to run through me, or maybe, you know, I'm not on the level that I say I am. Why don't you come find out? Why don't you come see the spectacle that's going to take place January 13th? Because there's nobody as prepared for this as me. There's nobody trained that I see that's training for this like me, that's living this lifestyle. And I've got a lot to prove, right? I feel as though I've underperformed, and I really want y'all to give me a chance January 13th to make a believer out of you, because I don't want to see you saying all this shit now, and then when I'm in the UFC posting about this and that, go Calvin, you know, when you were the same people saying that I was this, that I was that. At least come see what I'm really about. Come give it a shot and get behind me while, you know, I can still really use the support, right? Because as fighters, it's a popularity contest. It's not even really about what you do in the cage. It's about how many people you can get behind you. And I hope that the fans start to acknowledge that, right? Because I feel like, you know, even as a pro now, 11 pro fights, people don't necessarily understand, in America, everybody's kind of thinking about themselves. You see in other countries how they really get behind their fighters and they understand that the role that they play, just like you guys understand the role that you play and help it build in these guys' careers, like me, like Jesse, like all the great fighters you've had on this show. And I want these guys to come play your part, be a part of this, be a part of history. Because it's no mistake why my gym has had so much success, why Esteban, since he's been training with me, has had so much success. Jake Wiggins, who's fighting on a title on the undercard, has had so much success. There's a great energy in my gym, and what we're putting off and what we're coming up with, guys, it's next level. And I promise you, a world-class showcase of martial arts. If MMA is your thing, if high energy is your thing, and you want to see something that is special, right? If you want to see someone that's going to inspire you, I think look no further than the co-main event between me and Jesse Bazzi. Make violence great again. No quarter brand.
I love the hat. I was gonna say before we got off, I love the hat.
I appreciate that, brother. I appreciate that. The new sponsor, Las Vegas-based brick and mortar Deepwater MMA, gets you 15% off. Go check out, noquarterbrand.com. or noquarterclothing.com and pick up some gear, get a little discount, compliments of the hero, and stay tuned, guys, because I gotta, again, like this is just the beginning. Like this last year and now going into this year is really my time, right? I've cut my teeth, like you said, fighting through COVID, coming up the hard way. I've paid my dues, right? I really have paid my dues, and this is my time to shine, and I'm not going to let this moment pass me by. This is my time. So thank you guys for having me on. I appreciate each of you guys.
Appreciate it, man.
I hope you're there. I don't know if you're going to be there. Kyle, you calling the fight?
I'm calling the fight. I'll be there cage side.
I'll be there. Corey, I'm pretty sure Corey's going to be there too.
Yeah.
We'll be there. We'll be walking around there. If you guys see us out there, come say what up.
I hope I run into you gentlemen, man, and I can
definitely
catch you after the fight. So I appreciate you guys.
Absolutely, man. Good luck on Saturday, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, good luck, brother.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, man. That that was Calvin, the hero, Harbaugh. We will be joined here momentarily by Jesse Bazzi.
He talked to me into it. I don't know about everybody in the chat.
I don't know. I've seen a few people. My man's from Mexico is picking Harbaugh out here. So like I say, this is gonna
the chat is pretty live right now with some predictions, man. So hopefully everybody keeps that same energy, and I mean it's gonna be a banger. I think I'm excited for it. He talked me into the building already, so I'll be there.
I will be in the building as well. They're giving me the microphone. But Corey, how do you feel about this fight now after talking to Mr. Harbaugh?
I mean, yeah, how can you not hear everything that he is pouring into the sport and not feel like he's giving it his all through coaching and through his own performances? And to his point, he's been on a bit of a roll lately. Let's see if he can keep that momentum going, come next Saturday.
So to answer your question,
after it all, though, like we always talk about after everything, I know there's some bad blood and all the predictions in the chat and everything, but regardless of it all, dude, you still got to love the respect for the sport. And I think he has that, the passion and the respect for the sport of MMA. I think it shows the way he speaks and presents himself. So that alone talks me into the building. So I'm with it, dude. I'm excited for that.
Well, speaking of in the building, we've got a lot of his fans in the comments. Jesse Bazzi has joined the chat. We'll have to see what he's got to say about what Mr. Harbaugh had to say. Yeah. Jesse Bazzi, how you doing, my man?
Hey, what up, guys? How's it going? I'm doing well.
Can't complain, my man. We've got a lot of fans for you in the comments. I know you were checking out some of what's going on, man. What are your thoughts headed into this fight with Calvin Harbaugh, bro?
Yeah, my initial thought is just fuck Calvin.
Oh, shit.
And then beyond that, there's some like fuck Calvin, fuck that guy. That's it, really.
Damn. Well, can we get some details, some backstory to that?
I don't have no backstory. I did tune in to watch his interview. I don't know what he's talking about. I don't know. He was talking about when he fought somebody that used to train at a gym I trained at. And he said, I don't know, something about a cold shoulder. I don't know what he's talking about. I didn't know who he was really. I do remember the fight he's talking about, but I don't know who he was until he started calling me out this year.
It's interesting how the group, the World of Fighters, could just be like such the shit stirrer in the state of Michigan, man, because anybody that's in that group knows it goes down in the World of Fighters group. But with that being said, bro, it's been a while since we've had you on the show. Like we talked about with him, something I found unique with both of you guys was that you're both opening up your own gyms and stuff. So before we get to the fight, before we get to all that stuff, talk to me a little bit about what's new in the world of Jesse Bazzi. Talk to me about Bloom MMA.
Yeah. First of all, thank you for having me on the show. I'm happy to be here too. But yeah, Bloom MMA and Fitness. Yeah, we've been open for a little over a year now. I ventured off into coaching like here and there a couple years ago. And then last year I started getting a little more serious and I was like, this is what I want to do. I want to open a gym. I want to have a life in MMA. And I know like fighting isn't eternal, but coaching, I can do that for a long time. And I'd like to pass down all the knowledge that I have and that I will have. I'm still a student myself, seeking knowledge all the time. And I like to pass that down and teach people how to fight and teach people how to be men. I want to have athletes, but also I want to make a better world by creating more men or more strong women, people who have confidence, people who walk around with their chest up, not their head down.
Totally respect that. I mean, jiu-jitsu training, MMA, boxing, all that stuff has done a world of difference for me. So I find it awesome that you're trying to do that for the next generation as well. Speaking about fighting, I mean, you've had a little bit of a layoff while you've been getting the gym together and all those things as well. Talk to me about getting back into fighting and getting yourself ready for a fight. What makes now the right time to hop back in the cage?
Honestly, I'm only jumping back in this because Matt Freno asked me to shut this guy up, and that's it. I was injured. I had two pretty bad injuries, and even though I did one of my injuries, I actually broke my foot, and I was going through surgery, and I was still in a boot, and this guy was calling me out, and I'm like, all right, I can't fucking wrestle right now. I'm in a boot. But I'll go kickbox this guy. I don't need to wrestle. In like 4 weeks, I'll be able to walk on it, and I'll fucking kickbox this guy. And we try to set that up while I reach out to somebody. They reached out to him. He was saying yeah on Facebook, but then when it came time to it, he told the guy like he wanted like a few $1,000s, and the guy asked around and he's like, he's not worth it. He's not going to sell like that. And in whatever neighborhood, I don't know where the show was going to be, but he's like, he's not going to sell like that. I can't give it to him. And I was I told him I would fight for free. Like I told the promoter, like I'm a fight for free. I'll just do ticket sales and that's it. But, sorry to answer you, like what makes this the right time? It's not really the right time. I did get back into training. I started back wrestling and kicking with my foot and stuff, and it felt strong. And then Matt happened to call me at like a couple weeks out from doing this, and I was like, yeah, you know what? I think I can be ready. I'm gonna do it. And now I feel fucking great, and I can't wait.
I like it, man. Jumping in head first. I mean, I feel like it's a good matchup for both of you guys. I mean, both of you guys, that was something that he said in his interview as well, that both of you guys have both fought real tough guys. I mean, you've fought on the Ruiz undercard in boxing. You fought a lot of the biggest names here in Michigan, fighting for LFA and all those things. So both of you guys have fought tough opposition going into this one. As you go into camp for this one, man, are you training completely at Bloom MMA now, or are you bouncing back and forth between Top Team? Because I know the last time you were on the show with us, you were a Top Team guy back in the early days of the show.
Yeah, I haven't. My schedule don't really work out for me to go to Top Team because most of their classes are in the evening, and then I coach in the evening at my place. But I have been bouncing around. I'm a Detroit Jiu-Jitsu affiliate. I work with them guys over there amongst other people in the affiliate. And then a lot of my fighter friends have, thank God for this. I mean, I like the guys at my gym. I get a lot of good drilling with them, and some of them do give me good rounds and stuff. But I've had a lot of people outside of my gym coming in to spar with me. Not even like from the affiliates or whatever, like even from other gyms that ain't associated at all, just people I'm friends with and stuff. So yeah, I've been getting a lot of work outside of my gym. I even went to a wrestling practice at a high school earlier. Like I'm just out here getting work.
Yeah, it's important to get those varied looks going into a fight. That's for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm really grateful to have these people all around me.
Hell yeah, man. Well, now that we've talked a little bit about your gym and getting the gym open and all these things, man, as you step back into this card January 13th, you know, last time I saw you was at one of the fights when you were still in a boot. Do you feel like now that you're back at 100% moving around, do you feel back to normal as far as your mobility? Do you think that's going to be any issue in the fight as far as being movement wise or anything like that?
No, I don't think it will at all. Movement, yeah, I do feel great. I don't think it's hindered me at all. Um, I was nervous about it, just because nothing's bad like with my bone structure or my muscles or nothing, but my skin, like for not kicking for so long and probably like being in a cast and having my skin peel off, my skin was super tender. So when I was kicking, it was just like, fuck, I don't wanna kick. And I just had to work through it. I had to stay at the gym, late hours and get my rounds in on the bag by myself, get through it. And now I don't know, I'm kicking like normal. Uh, but no, I don't think it's. I'm not hindered at all by my injuries.
So with that said, man, as we walk back in and we're at the first fight of 2024, how do you want 2024 to look for you? We talked about with Calvin how he has he said he has a fight set up in Brazil as well this year. How active do you want to be in 2024?
I definitely want to be active, but not sure with MMA. Like, I mean, it's not like I'm out here chasing a dream to go off and fight somewhere, but I really enjoy fighting. But I want to be active. I want to do like jits tournaments. Kickboxing's coming to Michigan. I'd love to get into that. That's super fun to me. Uh, yeah, I like to be active, but I do have to make sure like I'm taking care of my guys first at the gym and all that. They come first right now.
Did that reinvigorate your love for the sport, kind of with the whole coming back to it? Like you say, you're not necessarily chasing a dream at this point. You're just kind of doing it for fun. Does that kind of reinvigorate your love for the sport?
Uh, I don't know. I think my love for the sport has been strong for a while, and I feel like it still is. I feel like it's the same right now. I don't know. I've always had a love for the sport, and I still do. And I'm grateful that I'm able to coach people. I was able to open a gym, and it's going pretty well. And I don't know. So I'm not sure if it did. I think no. I think it's been the same love.
So with that said, man, talk to me about this fight with Calvin Harbaugh. Is there anything that you feel that he presents as far as issues for you going into this fight, and how do you see this fight playing out?
Yeah. I mean, I think he's a wrestler. I mean, watching his fights, yeah, he definitely looks to take it to the ground. And then I've had some issues with that. Um, Whatever the reason be, but I have had some issues fighting wrestlers and stuff. But I'm pretty confident that my experience will take me into a victory for this fight. And honestly, I mean, I seen him. He said something about knocking me out. I don't know where he gets this from, like where he would think he can do that. I know he said something about he's been training some striking or whatever. Guys like him, they go through a fight camp and they probably spend hours and hours striking, and then they come out here and they don't strike with me. It's I mean, It's an old story or whatever, old tale, but everyone's has a game plan until they get hit hard, you know. But
everybody's got a game plan until they get punched in the mouth.
yeah, for real. So even if I don't hit him hard, I just feel like him being in exchanges, he's gonna rush for a takedown, and I feel like he is gonna mess up. And honestly, I would love to knock him out. I would love to break something, but I think I'm gonna end up putting him to sleep with some kind of choke submission.
You heard it first. Put money on that sub.
Right, you got people in the comments right now, and they're killing me, dude. Have you, Kyle? You seen these comments?
I don't.
Eric says he's seen you wrestle an alligator.
Oh yeah,
and they had to help the alligator.
Talking about saving cats from trees in a fire or something.
From trees. Suann says you can make onions cry and you can do a wheelie on a unicycle. Dude, I'm dying over here. Your fan base is red hot in the chat right now. I'll tell you that.
Is this 3 truths and a lie, or are these all telling the truth?
You know, there's some truth behind all those stories.
He says he could slam a revolving door, bro. I'm dying over here, man. This is great. Hey,
all right, there's some truth I need to know. Okay, did we save a cat from a fire? Is that what happened?
No, there's no truth.
Can we do the unicycle wheelie at least? Because I know I sure as hell can't. I had a guy come into the post office the other day with an electric unicycle.
I don't think it's possible.
That was nuts.
Yeah, well, how
I mean, hey.
Yeah.
Oh, God,
I mean, hey, I've seen people try some dumb shit. I just had to ask,
lighten it up in the chat, dude.
You know what I can do? I can beat the fuck out of Calvin. That's what I can do. All right.
Well, if you can do that, things are going to go real well for you on January 13th, man. All I know is that I'm happy that I get to be cage side for this, and hopefully nobody gets pissed off by my commentary this time. But with that said,
last time, what'd you do?
I don't feel like I said anything. I called it down the middle, and somebody got mad because the other guy won. But that, I mean, I guess that comes with the fucking territory.
Who got mad?
I called the blatant nut shot at one point, though. I heard that.
Yeah, they caught that one. Spectation Sports caught that one when I called the nut shot. But speaking of predictions and all these things, bro, you got to tell me. I know you watch all the fights. We still all got to link up for one of these fight nights, but you got to tell me, bro. What are your thoughts on all this talk with the return of Conor, man? Do you think he's coming back, or do you think it's all smoke? And if so, what do you think about the 85 thing?
Yeah, I seen his video talking about he's fighting at 85 with Chandler. I don't know. I mean, honestly, I do think he did go off and get on steroids because of all the other facts that's going on with USADA and all that. I don't think it's cool. I think, like, if he wanted to do that, he should have went over to, like, Japan and fought other guys on steroids. Like, I think Chandler, he's, like, a down-to-earth guy. He's a real fighter. And I don't think he should bump up to 85 to fight him. Yeah, I don't think Conor should be doing this. I don't really like the move. But he does know how to get people interested in him and in his fights and stuff. And if he does it, I'll tune in for sure.
Man, you guys, I feel like I said that going into this, that I'm so glad that we had the idea to have both of y'all coming in because, man, you guys got motherfuckers jumping in the comments over here.
Yeah.
I feel like the atmosphere come the 13th is about to be nuts, man. We've got people from Mexico chiming in talking about who they've got for this fight.
Shout out
so,
to Mexico.
man, make sure you guys are in the building.
I'm good in Mexico.
For this one.
No.
Yeah.
Where you?
I'll be in the house.
Far out
You guys see me wandering around out there. Make sure you say what up to me. Corey, you'll probably be with me, I'm sure. So we'll be kicking out
sure
there.
we'll
You guys want to come up? We'll be there.
Hell yeah,
we'll throw paper at Kyle from the fan area. We'll throw paper at Kyle while he's commentating. Just fuck with him.
At least if you're going to do it, make sure it's like a good paper airplane. You know, it's got to have good form and be aerodynamic.
You know.
I'm just saying, if you're going to do it, you got to be a pro at doing it. But Jesse, man, well, how are you feeling about the other fights on this joint, man? Like you and Calvin, I feel like, and I'm glad that we did this. I feel like you guys might be the one to steal the show because I feel like the crowd is going to be hyped for this fight. But dude,
Yeah.
you guys got a hell of a lot of good stuff on this one.
Yeah, will be a good fight. I got a lot of people coming out. They'll be hype. Yeah, man. Oh, I don't know. I just almost got sidetracked for a second. But yeah, the other fights, I do have my boy Abe Seguir. He's the main event. I'm excited to see him. He's an exciting fighter on the rise. I think he will be going to the big show eventually. If not this year, next year, I think he'll be there. So I'm excited to watch him fight. There's a couple other guys from DJJ fighting too. His brother Fozzy, he just got into fighting. I've been training with all them guys. He's a good training partner. I'm excited to see what he does. Martez, he's from DJJ now. He's a good fighter, good training partner. I'm excited to see him. He's already had quite some success in the cage. Yeah, there's definitely some more good fights on here I'm looking forward to see.
So I agree, man. I like specifically, I like the fight that if the card goes this way, it's going to be all you got. Ethan Pauly versus Ali Rahal. I feel like the crowd's going to be hyped for that one. I feel like that's a good matchup. And I'm excited to see what we see from Dean Caldwell, bro. I've called his last couple fights here. He's looked good in his last couple fights. He's getting back in there. And then, you know, we've had past guests of the show, Austin Bashy. We've got Carlo Bashy is stepping into the cage again against Tyler Schindorf. There's going to be a bunch of fights on this one. Like we were saying, if you're in the area, man, you guys need to come out and check this fight out. I feel like this is going to be a badass fight. All right, we got people in the comments. What submission is Jesse going to hit?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, everyone knows I have a crazy good guillotine. He shoots in with his head down. I'm fucking snatching his neck. But I don't know. I have a bunch of other stuff. I don't want to play too much.
I get you. Don't want to give away the secret sauce. I love it, dude.
Yeah. Protect your neck, though.
he said teabag. That'd be a hell of a submission.
Damn.
Oh my god, dude! All I know is January 13th can't get here soon enough, bro. I don't know about y'all boys, but I feel like this fight is going to steal the show on this one.
Yeah.
Jesse, if you got anything left that you want to let anybody know, or what time it is, man, let everybody know where they can find you, check you guys out. Let them know where they can find out the gym.
Yeah, my gym, Bloom MMA, is in Wayne, Michigan. It's right down the street from the Hype Athletic Center. That's where the fight's going to be. It's literally right down the street on the corner. Come check us out. I'm sure you'll love it. Everyone who comes does. Yeah, and then come out to the show, man. Come check it out. And I understand some people can't. Just like, comment, share, all the shit involving the show. But don't be adding them fake Facebook profiles, and don't be clicking on them links that say we have the link to the fight for free or whatever. Don't do that shit.
You spice up your steaks with pepper spray? What the fuck? That doesn't sound very tasty.
It's just for the hard
people don't like things at first, but after a few times doing it, you get used to drinking some beer or whatever, you know.
Drinking some beer and putting hairspray on a steak, I feel like are two totally different things.
Hey, you remember how Rocky used to drink his egg, for the protein? Maybe he does something different over here, man.
I watched Juan
Manuel
Marquez drink his own piss. I'm never doing that, but I've seen people do some weird stuff.
No.
Hey, everybody's got their way, right?
That's not going to be my way, and something tells me it's not going to be Bazzi's way. I think hairspray on steak might be where that line might stop. But, dude, I feel like you're right. Built different, man. Like I said,
That's right.
I am looking forward to this January 13th. Hype Athletic Center, Wayne, Michigan. Make sure you guys check this out. Be there. Get you a ticket. Use the code Bazzi. Make this man some money. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Help us make some money. And stay tuned. If you guys are watching UFC 297, we will be joined soon here by Jimmy Flick before he steps back in the cage, as well as some people that I can't tell you yet, so you might want to hit that subscribe button. One of them might have just had a
What the
yes,
fuck?
sir.
I fought that guy too.
I know you did. Y'all, I know y'all did.
He pissed me off.
He did. Okay, then why he pissed you off? What'd Jimmy do?
Because he beat me, he went to the UFC and then quit. What the fuck? and he won in the UFC. Like, why you? Oh my god.
We talked about that the last time he was on the show, but he's back up in the UFC now. Hopefully, he can get himself a dub here come UFC 297. Man, we've got guests on the next few cards here, fellas. You got that one, and then the next fight after that, you got past guest of the show Miranda Maverick going in there with Andrea KGB Lee. And now, I mean, Chris Cyborg said today that the fight with Kayla Harrison isn't going to happen. So with that said, who knows? Maybe her and Christine Faria can scrap now. So I mean,
gal. We know a gal. Come on, let's make it happen.
Cyborg bare knuckle sounds like a fun time to me. That's all I know.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
That's all I know. But all I know is January 13th is going to be a good time. Like I said, make sure you hit that subscribe button, like button, comment button. Shout out to our sponsors, Potter's Tree Service and all that good stuff. Shout out to everybody that's watching. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe button. We'll see y'all next Tuesday. Peace.
See ya.
I was talking to you.